Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ECC Season 9 Vortex Open Qualifiers. I am Victor VTM and joined by Danny for tonight.
Well, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Yes, it is tonight for the Vortex qualifiers. Last season, we've seen a very much a strange but unusual playoffs that had a champion crown. But that's yesteryear. It's time for today and next season, Victor, and what a way to start.
What a way to start. There were a lot of teams getting signed as well, a lot of teams dropping out, a lot of teams coming in here now. We see some new faces now as well in the Vortex Open Qualifiers. For example, we have as well Irrelevant Esports Crimson coming back from not being in the season for what, 2 seasons or 1 season, I can't remember, but it's going to be exciting to see how they will compete throughout this Vortex qualifiers, but that's in another game. But tonight we will have Sunset Sloopers up against Dagisbarnen, and what a first game this will be, Danny.
Well, it should be interesting as well, and sure, all the first round matches happening at the same time. This one selected by a majority of staff due to the history of this match as well. Some even dating back to the very beginnings of ECC, now of course Slipstream. So I hate to be a tad bit old here, Victor, but I remember these players quite well enough.
Oh boy, yes, some familiar faces still up around here, and it's going to be interesting to see how the veterans will play out. But nonetheless, I see that both of the teams are now ready, so let's jump straight into the action.
Sounds good as well. The Sunset Sloppers will be specifically in the blue. And look at that, some old faces, I said, as well on that roster there. Percy, back in Season 1, the elite champion of that particular division. And Didi, Season 2 and Season 4. You cannot get royalty in Slipstream without these two on the pitch as well. And that's already a decent opening play by both sides. Good defensive for the Vortex standard as well, too.
So far, both teams just not playing a bit too aggressive, just trying to learn each other, trying to see when they can just, strike at them. As well, both teams having a fair amount of pressure on both sides, just having their own time, trying to throw the ball around to see how the other team reacts to it. And so far, it's just going into, Dagisbarnen's favor.
That's not too bad as well here, and it's a bit of an interesting name. Do you know the origin behind it? Because I'm not quite familiar with it. I believe German-based name, but happy always to be corrected on it.
Yeah, kind of surprised to see that Percy plays under Sunset Sloppers. If I remember correctly, wasn't he in like Glasgow Storms last season or something?
Something like that, if my history is to be believed and correct on that one. I know Enthey would be pretty much the sort of the historical value on that person who would know all the intricate details of the players here at Slipstream, but everything being so tightly well knit at the moment, so is the scoreline being 0-0.
Still so far, that's an open net for Otto, but he can't find the back of the net. Percy will happily snatch it away. Tries to find his teammate in the middle, can't do so. Diffie will find the first shot for Dagisbarnen.
Just like that, right across here. Percy should know better. Passes it right in middle. And Clay, well, unfortunately, it's not been solidified at all here. Still sloppy. And that's just summarised the defence in the first 2 minutes.
Already it is Batters, I don't know. Sorry for butchering the name, but nonetheless, he has a great kickoff there as Percy goes for a double touch. Really gets it, he does, but not in the net. Batters tries to center it for Clay. Okay, dropping it down, but no one is there to follow it up. Derry with the clear into Percy, unfortunately. Gets blocked by Derry again, but Batters finds Percy upfield. Can't find a touch though to find it in the middle.
Nice bit of calm control play here, Clay. Slightly a bit annoyed that he let one in. Percy also just vigorating the ball here, just trying to get the oscillations back. And that shot will slip on through. I think both defences right now being on stream can be summarised like sieves. Too many holes to be left open.
Great shot by Batters there, finding the gap between the two defenders. Great pass as well. by Clay out into the middle, perfectly lined up for Batters to just, equalize the game for this series as it stands 1-1 now. But Clay tries to go for that tiebreaker. He can't find it. Percy can't find it either. Batters will be the one who finds it.
Just simply sweet, this one. I think this one's probably the more legitimate goal in terms of play, but the pressure, just trying to squeeze it in right nicely. 2-1, comfortable, delicate play, but can easily go wrong here. Half time, of course, gone by here. Percy's kick up slightly favours his own team, but the opposition, he will have time to probe the backlines. Not happening in a quick run back for Otto.
It's going so far so good for Sunset Sloppers, as sure, their defense currently, they're the one under the pressure, but they're keeping it up. They're keeping it up, not not stressed at all or anything, keeping calm, trying to find out how Dagisbarnen will do. That was a close one by one of the attackers, but also tries to put it in a bit too wide. Again, like both teams currently, it's just interesting to see. Oh, it's really close of going in again. Like I was going to say, like both teams, they're just trying to find or figure out how they can break down the defense on each other. That's an open net. Percy, will he find it? He can't. Daddy would be there for the save.
Break down the defence. It sounds so simple, just us saying it. So far the teams have yet to show us that exercise being proven and tested at this point. As Clay, he sees Percy to the back wall, so it's perked out as a fake, and I think the defender wish he had the clock to rewind time back.
Incredible show here by Clay, trying to go for the double touch. I believe he did get it off the crossbar, it's unsure. Either it just bounced in, but grabbing that second goal deficit for Sunset Sloppers as it stands now in the scoreboard 3-1 for Sunset Sloppers.
Well, we've seen 4 goals basically within 4 minutes. It's not necessarily a bad thing necessarily. We will see maybe one more slip on in here, Victor. Frankly, it looked even. One side in particular had the lead at one stage. That was almost unthinkable. Now we've seen 4 being blasted in by the side in blue, the Sunset Sloppers. They played a blinder in game 1.
Dagisbarnen is probably kicking themselves currently, just wishing they didn't do as many mistakes as they are doing currently. Leaving the net a bit open sometimes as well, and some miscommunications now and then. And they're not keeping the ball to themselves either, just throwing it away sometimes and leaving too much space for Sunset Sloppers, which they realized and just took advantage of and capitalized on it. But as it's fake, Daddy with a shot that's saved and sent away by Clay. What a save there, and that's another open net for Sunset Sloppers. Clay will put the 5th one in.
Well, I always say when you have that championship mentality, you don't lose it. All right, now the other two in particular trying to show they are equal to Percy's level right now. 5 goals to 1 with half-time basically over. We might as well say this is a best of 5 match as well. Game 1 to be particular. It's going to be a long road here because frankly, if this keeps up, it has sweep written all over it.
Indeed. Like, there's a lot of mistakes that Dagisbarnen are doing, and Sunset Sloppers sees it, and what they've been doing in this game, just capitalizing on it, putting shot after shot as I speak. Percy with another shot, capitalizing on the poor touch there by Daddy and the rotations by Dagisbarnen.
Can you say 6-1 at this point here? Maybe Brazil? Maybe we won't. With 5 seconds there from that kickoff, it looks maybe the impossible. Sadly, it will remain at this point 1-0 in our opening game. In terms of series, the scoreline, however, one-sided threat. As I did say, sweep written all over it, Victor. You may be agreeing to that to an extent here. But is there any hope that we can see from their opposition side that this match isn't one-sided affair?
I mean, from the first beginning, like the first minute, Dagisbarnen, they were holding it, really good up against Sunset Sloppers. It was just later on they were doing more mistakes than in the beginning. In the beginning, it was really set. Dagisbarnen was just really focused. They were, not making as much mistakes. They were just, trying to actually win. They grabbed the first goal, and then, maybe that just threw them off. They're like, okay, this was easier than we thought. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it as a 1-goal deficit. Ending it up, game 1 lost for them 6-1, unfortunately. Obviously, that was my bad, forgetting to change the map. And
No, you didn't forget. We just like this map that much. We thought it showed the game.
yeah, let's just say that. We like this map more than others. Nonetheless, we were supposed to be in Forbidden Temple, but we are back in Manfield. And obviously, like I was going to quote, like, it all depends on how Dagisbarnen will react to you after that first game. Because Batters will just put the first one in with less than 10 seconds into the game.
The simple sweet as well too, and they almost are interrupt where I was going and says results actually are trickling on in. I said round matches ones has already started. This is but slightly delayed for our streaming enjoyment, the pleasure of our esports already going through. Wee Dreams going through. I didn't think I'd say that name today. Well, they have gone through so far. Round 2 should be interesting, but we might have a match in game 2.
Clay with the backflip pause, trying to get it to Percy, instead gets it to Diddy, which will capitalize on it. Says thank you for the pause, puts it in the back of the net.
Thank you at this point. I'm guessing they're going to be groveling to the ground there and almost praising him like a king at that moment. Massive blunder. Will it sacrifice in terms of their mentality? No, they just score another one. 2-1.
Play brilliantly, just putting it on the backboard that he doesn't expect it as well. Diffie trying to go for that pre-jump doesn't really work out for him. Batters slots one behind him and grabs that lead once again for Sunset Sloopers. But also straight off the kickoff, passes to the middle, really just giving the ball for them to score and put another one in. That was really dangerous, Danny.
Might have been dangerous. But how much threats on this one here at the moment? Daddy!
No words up, no words.
I do have words, just I can't say any of them.
Agreed. Daddy, what are you doing, brother? That was not the hardest save to get, but I do get why you were making that mistake. Nonetheless, 3-1 on the scoreboard with 4 to 4 minutes left. It is still doable to come back at this point, but will it happen? That's the question. No. Straight out no, Danny. Pretty savage.
Well, with a pass like that, with a defence as the one beforehand, with a 6-1 scoreline in the game 1, I think when it pours at this point here. There's no evidence to suggest otherwise.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Those who support, who came to the stream to, support Dagisbarnen, it's gonna hurt to see how they're performing up against the Sunset Sloopers. But I mean, I guess Sunset Sloopers probably being named, Storms or Glasgow Storms for last season. Obviously, this is a different roster than I remember, but obviously they were a Champions Conference team. But let's see if they do keep that title up. They're trying to. Everyone's in here is trying to fight for the Vortex, the highest, the highest league in ECC. It's above Vortex, was added last season, continued throughout this season as well. It's going to be interesting to see what teams will be, getting into the close qualifiers tomorrow.
That'll be interesting as well, and we may as well talk about that last season. And the league play was almost horrible if you're at the low end of sort of the relegation battle as well, and show you how vicious the league as well. 6 teams, you're not fighting to stay up at that point there. Dark Cats didn't have much hope, and Nate Esports 3-6 at that one point in time. Damage Incorporate 5-4. They won that has the right to be invited back, of course, in terms of the closed qualifier by the looks of the schedule, which is happening later on in the month as well. But the playoff was certainly something we'll talk about later. This, however, Victor, where was this 2 minutes ago?
Indeed, that's the question I'm having in my head as well. What was this? And what was that, Derry? That momentum was great. Grabbing that second goal for Dagisbarnen. Keep this going, you have a chance to tie the game.
Chance to tie the game up. It sounds plausible. Doesn't seem likely though. Ruled it out earlier. 2 minutes on the clock. They'll need to get a move on here. At this point here, Didi has to cut from the midfield to the left-hand side, playing from, of course, the orange to blue. 2 minutes still on that clock. And right now they're already playing defensive work in the north. Shot peppered to the top left of that goalpost. Sends it wide, however. Everything might just be tumbling down.
It does do look like it's tumbling down for Dagisbarnen. You know, they had a lot of opportunities earlier when they had to break out. It was like a 2v1 situation for Otto or either. No, it was Diffie. Sorry, Diffie just can't find, you know, the touch they needed to clear the ball into the blue half. And if Diffie did find it, it was an easy 2v1. You know, they could have grabbed that third goal, but that didn't happen because Diffie didn't, you know, find the touch they needed. That was a shot a bit too wide. Again, an opportunity wasted.
They're not going to get many chances in this game. Maybe not even in the series. Well, near no 70 seconds on this clock here. They've got to get a move on as well. And anybody's interest as well, you can of course do the command bracket. You can see this one being particularly match 117. Others, of course, coming in as we did slightly mention before the second sort of commencing of the series here. Stensi moves this one downfield and are banging up the clear. It almost looks too comfortable, too easy here. Sunset Sloopers, they arise and it's Brighton.
Oh, no way!
Can we have goal of the week and yet worst play of the week? Because that was both at the same time.
MV, what you say? If you're in the chat, what do you want? I mean, I'm down to make a ball. I'm down to make a ball. Nothing to, you know, greatest save as well. Maybe three titles in that shot right there.
I think you'll probably get up to 6 here, but we'll leave that one for maybe the Slipstream panel. Of course, join the Discord, get involved in the conversation. Be interested and have your take as well in the course of the Twitch chat, as it is currently live right now. As DD Justin Fortescue sending around here, and I'm not saying, but have that feeling where Sunset Sloopers like the bigger brother picking on the young siblings here. Stop punching yourself, it seems to be the slogan of this match.
Hurts to say, you know, Dagisbarnen. I believe it is a Swedish team. Like, either it's a full Swedish roster, but the name is Swedish at least. And for me to be, you know, Swedish, sort of supporting them since they're, you know, the same nationality, it just hurts to see the mistakes they're doing. Especially you're up against Sunset Sloopers, who won't let that ball enter the blue hole. But as we speak, they grab that second game in the series. They're forced to do a reverse sweep now, which is, you know, very unlikely if you're in the position of Dagisbarnen, unfortunately.
I think we're being kind to say unlikely at this point here. We haven't seen enough. Of course, scoreline-wise, if you're just looking through the match book and sort of going, well, it wasn't too bad. It was a bit more closer. Clearly, they were playing better. I think anybody watching sort of the tapes, as the Americans would like to say, wasn't the case. But Victor, you sort of made an interesting point there in terms of what's happening at this sort of point in time here. There hasn't been much we can say in terms of it and the nationalities. At least Sweden has a chance of maybe showing and representing their country. Same Ireland. Well, we'll just leave it there at that point because we're not very good.
Oh, yeah, it does hurt, like, seeing your own, you know, nationality. Like, you're hyping them up. Oh, you made it to the playoffs. Just to see them, like, underperform, playing not like how they play league play.
Is that how you say, no, we made it to playoffs? Don't tell it was the open qualifier, just say it was a playoff. Is that how we do it around here?
Well, we can compare to whatever we want, I guess, but...
I'm going to use that trick as well, too.
Oh, Diffie changes to the battlefield as well. This is going to be interesting. Will he save the day for Dagisbarnen? That's going to be interesting to see.
Well, usually sort of a placebo effect, changing the card, trying to make you somewhat play different. Maybe they'll sit back further. Who knows, of course, how they'll affect the series. That's why we have to play the matches, of course, as that shot goes wide. The hopes and chances goes down the drain as each second passes away. To the percentage right now, roughly around about 50% as well if it was tied 0-0 in the series. Worst thing as well, if a goal happens right now, the percentage near enough happens for the side in orange if a goal go against them at this point in time.
I mean, so far, Dagisbarnen is looking pretty well with the amount of pressure they had in that first, minute. Just putting pressure on Sunset Sloopers, not giving them an inch to breathe. Percy trying to pass it out into the middle again. Like, they're not scared. Sunset Sloopers aren't scared at all. They will throw anything at you. If they find something near to them, like 1 feet close to them, they'll grab it, throw it at them, try their best to just punish. But as I say, Percy with the brilliant double touch will grab the lead for Sunset Sloopers.
Just notice as well, sort of the hat in particular in his car, he just walks away, nothing happens right now. Percy didn't even have to roll up his sleeves to sort of fight dirty at this point. It's just comfortable, and the 9 to 5 sort of day job office at the moment. He's done his calculations, and this is time off that he's enjoying right now. 1-0, 2-0 series wide lead right now. He might want the second for safety's sake, and Otto, well, he was last man, and that shot wide as well. Unfortunately, even leading luck isn't happening today.
That was so close. The closest we've ever been to a goal this game. Maybe the whole series, but oh boy, that was a pinch between one of the defenders, like Otto and the blue team. I can't remember who it was. That's a pass to the middle. Otto! Oh, I can't find the back of the net. I can't play. Just sending Diffie's shot once again, just away. Like, your defense is great, Sunset Sloopers. Both defense and offense, they're not scared. They want to throw everything at them there right now. Just, vibing, chilling with bucket hats, tipping their hats possibly. That's a double conveyed by Dagisbarnen, but your Clay can't do much with it.
I just love how you said with a straight face their defence is good at the moment when they conceded 11 goals a series. That's a poor record by any standard, to be brutally honest on that one. There has to be tighter while only scoring 3 at this point in time. And Otto, could they? Could they? Of course not.
Oh, I want to bash my head. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. God damn it.
Right now, Victor is looking at that wall and saying, oh my dear friend. And right now that defence, solid? I don't think so. It's not even mesh, like it's almost non-existent at the moment. It has never been a thing, not for 3 games. They have to find a way of scoring, defending. Frankly, just simply playing the game at its foundation would be an improvement, as Otto cannot tuck that one home.
This is pretty unfair for Dagisbarnen. I mean, Sunset Sloopers. Let's not go through that, yeah?
It's okay.
Probably Champions Conference, got it by heart right now. Dagisbarnen is around, Division 1, trying to, step up into Champions Conference this season. Maybe they are Division 1, no idea. Hopefully they are Division 1. If they're Champions Conference, I'm very disappointed.
You're disappointed. I think they will be disappointed themselves, of course. Maybe a particular stream in the future for Slipstream for the future divisions coming shortly too. And while Victor had hoped that ball was going in, I'll tell you this, I didn't have any hope it was going in. The 3 players in blue didn't have any hope. And I think anybody watching didn't have any hope. As this one does roll in, it takes a massive empty net and an overcommit to do so. Can they force some kind of Jedi trick to score a second one similar like this?
Finally, Otto finds the back of the net after how many attempts? I probably broke my arm hitting my chair door.
At least you're actually hitting something. That would be the only difference so far.
Oh, one more goal, 50 seconds left on the clock. Dagisbarnen better step up their game right now if they want to stay alive in this Vortex Open qualifiers.
Well, I think probably Percy and Didi themselves a long time ago so are going, who's this Irish Lone Ranger at the moment, just sniping comments at them. Well, unfortunately, 2.5 years later, we're back at it again, and unfortunately, Didi on the receiving end of it. Hasn't been a long time since that one, and Victor is almost headbanging the table at this moment in frustration. He's willing this ball in right now with 10 seconds on the clock right now. Unfortunately, it's going to be a flood of tears. I don't know if it's from them or Victor. And he's off.
I want to go cry in the corner right now. This hurts. Oh, Clay! That's a nasty angle though. We gotta appreciate that. Nearly hitting the post, but it goes in. That is probably the nail on the coffin for Dagisbarnen. Sunset Sloopers probably will walk away with a sweep. 6 seconds left, 5 seconds, it's over. Sunset Sloopers walks away with a sweep.
Called it in game one. The evidence, however, was simply one-sided. Championship roster Division 1. Well, is this a Vortex team in the future? Close qualifiers not far away, of course. That will be, of course, streamed as well, too. Plenty of big names in the scene, still, of course, trying to get into the elusive top 10 teams. But Victor, there's not really much to say onto this one, but GG's and perhaps easy too.
Yeah, probably it's not easy. Oh, such an incredible show by Dagisbarnen in the beginning, you know. First thing, they were really good, but then they just lost it. They grabbed the first goal and then they just, you know, lost momentum. Probably because the equalizer. Great show by Sunset Sloopers though, you know. Just annihilating Dagisbarnen. But nonetheless, congrats to Dagisbarnen. They will move over to round 2 soon, up against. Let me just find it real quick. Let me just find where they are. They're playing against Trinitas Esport Remix later on. Won't be streamed though, as we will move over soon to the second stream series of the stream where. Let me just find the bracket again. It's just very messy with how it is right now. What is it?
Do you need a wee bit of help here?
Yeah, I'm sort of lost in this.
It's match 2.2 on the bracket, of course. It's Infinity versus, I believe it is Top Chokes, presuming the match has just gone through here. I believe they won 3-0 as well, but that does mean a small, quick break is required here in the casting booth to get everything set up from Victor, I, and the team. We'll see you on the other side of this break.